Well, Army, misery loves company. Plenty of company in round one. Lyle Hancock, the driver of the Gravedigger panel truck, also had trouble in round one, going up against Kirk Dabney's Nightmare. Now watch the problem in the far lane.
The soft track. As soon as these big tires grab, the track is soft. I showed you in the opening, and the vehicles are darting left and right. Now, Dabney, he could be the best-kept secret here today. The Gravedigger, he's another guy that had problems. But Donnie Van Loo kept the string going. Van Loo comes over to Dodge this year in the first round. He went up against the Ford of John Moore, the HPX Ford vehicle. A good run, but look what happened at the end.
Watch the near lane.
The left front tire in the near lane, they have what they call a knuckle on that tire. It's like a suspension piece, and it broke. So Van Loo goes on the trailer.
All kinds of problems in round one here at Florida Sports Park from Naples, Florida. It's a beautiful day, but these guys cannot enjoy the weather. They have a whole lot of work to look at Tropical Thunder. Now, we'll look at the matchups for round two. It will be Bigfoot against King Crunch, Nightmare against the Carolina Crusher, and No Problem will take on Snakebite. And, of course, the fast loser will come back to race again. So some matchups there for round two action from Florida Sports Park.
So far, the guy that bought a ticket's getting his money's worth, I'll guarantee you. Brand new vehicle on the circuit. You know, these guys keep coming up and updating. The paint stays the same. You've got a driver here that normally we do not see in this truck. This is Gary Wiggins. He's taken over as the number 2 driver for the Gary Porter operation. But this truck here, Gary, has impressed me. Kirk Dabney comes out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. He bought this truck, and in a very short time, he's really adapted to it. He's got the feel for the truck. He works good with the truck. He could be the best-kept secret in the sport, like I said earlier.
So you think today Kirk Dabney could really have a chance here?
Yeah, I definitely do. This track is conducive to that type of suspension. Look how smooth he is.
And he takes the victory. The far lane, the Nightmare truck. Kirk Dabney out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. He had a long, long way to tow to get down here to southern Florida, but he takes the victory here at Florida Sports Park.
And see, the right wall did not intimidate him one bit. He knew that truck was going to land straight. This truck runs an older style suspension. It has a tendency to bounce straight.
Well, that is one advantage as he keeps it straight and takes the victory here in round two, and he's down there with Army Armstrong.
Well, Gary, we got one of the fellas that made it to the Final Four on a very strange day here today. How's it feeling out there?
Well, Army, you know, we've been worried about that right-hand lane, and the Rugged Trail Nightmare truck has ran good in that lane before, but seeing the Tropical Thunder truck wreck, we were concerned, but the truck pulled real good. We're real content. We ran a 5.4 fast time for us of the day.
Well, the concern may be there, but once that green light goes on the Christmas tree, it's hammer down in all business. Round two competition now continues. No problem. There's a look at John Moore. He's out of Lafayette, Tennessee, longtime Ford man, and he pulls alongside the Snakebite. Colt Cobra. I'm not sure what that, well, that's a Ford Meg. I guess we can say that, but it's all tricked out with a fiberglass nose.
Yeah, it's a Ford body style. Everybody knows the story. He built the truck specifically to be the #1 Ford in the country. That means he's got to bump off Bigfoot, but in order to do that, he's got to get past John Moore. John Moore runs the suspension we talked about last year. The suspension on the truck in the far lane is based off the off-road vehicles out in California. Meanwhile, Snakebite runs a tried and true 460 cubic inch supercharged engine with Custer shocks, and he looks like he's going to advance to that next round.
The Colt Cobra will take the measure of John Moore. He will advance in the Ford Snakebite. One more look, the near lane.
Boy, this Snakebite and Bigfoot have figured something out in the torque converters. They run a TCI torque converters, and they are leaving the line and doing a wheelie with a 10,000-pound vehicle.
The most colorful driver on the circuit, Colt Cobra, and he is with Army.
Well, Colt, just tell me about it.
Well, I tell you what, Army, you know, we pulled a little bit with taller gear on that run there, and it seemed like the truck really bit in hard with the Firestone tires. You know, the Ford's making all the power we need down here this weekend for this run down here in Naples. You know, we're looking real good, like I said earlier. We're going into the next round. We're feeling real good. The truck seems like it's handling real nice for us down here. We've been struggling all year long, you know, but the Ford, with a little help from Brass Eagle, we're going into the next round. And, of course, that BDS supercharger's making all the power I want.
You could just hear the excitement and enthusiasm in that driver's voice. And here is a look at the Auto Value King Crunch. A lot of work went on earlier in the pit area. We saw that broken suspension component on Scott Stevens' truck out of Woodlands, Texas. And there was some heavy work going on in the pit area earlier as the welder, well, a cutting torch right there. Then they had to weld that piece back together. But Scott Stevens is back on the track.
Okay, you've got to remember one thing. That bar broke in the first round. The truck hooked to the right. He was in the left lane. He had some space. He's not in that scenario now. He is right next to that concrete wall. He better trust that welder.
Here's a guy that's had great success in monster truck racing, Andy Brass in Bigfoot number 10. I like that view in the cockpit as he starts to work the pedals. He'll be in the near lane. Ford against GMC.
Both veterans going after each other. Boy, the Ford leaves the line hard. Can't believe he's doing a wheel stand with a 10,000-pound truck.
Scott's in trouble again, though. Scott headed off to the right. Of course, Bigfoot wins it. We were watching Scott Stevens, as were they, as he got in trouble in that far lane up against the outside concrete wall. We're coming back with more from Florida Sports Park.